Hey, hi Meg, hi everyone. My name is Poonam Agarwal and I'm working as a senior engineering manager with Pluralsight. I have around 13 years of tech experience in various technologies, building cloud scalable applications, and I'm happy and excited to be here.
Thank you so much. Ravi, how about you? What should our audience know about you?
Sure. It's great to be here. I'm Ravi. I'm the Vice President and Site Leader for Pluralsight India. I've been with this company for almost nearly 18 months now. It's been such a wonderful learning journey that I would cherish for the rest of my career. I've been in this industry for a pretty long time, over 3 decades. I loved my life right from a programmer, writing the simple programs in C++ age, and to the sophisticated cloud programs. And that's how I covered the entire length and breadth of the software industry. So it's great to be here to talk to the people.
Excellent. Very, very excited to talk to you both. All right, so let's talk about, for each of you. So Poonam, I'll go to you first. What does being a lifelong learner mean to you in the context of the tech industry?
Okay, so Meg, what I believe in is curiosity is a secret of learning. It holds for tech and non-tech. And I'm always very curious to solve problems more effectively, more efficiently. How can I do this better? And I believe not being hesitant to try new technologies, constantly evolving with the technological trends and upskilling. I believe these are the key ingredients for being a key learner.
I'd absolutely agree with that. Having that curiosity, if you are interested in learning something, it sticks a lot easier than if you are trying to generate some interest in it. Ravi, does the idea of being a lifelong learner hold the same kind of meaning for you?
Absolutely. I call that as the child curiosity. As a child, one of the things that lives in their mind is a curiosity. Get up with the curiosity and go to the bed with the curiosity. Their questions are ever ending. They always will be asking what, why, how. But as they grow as adults, they start to slowly fade away that curiosity. And that is when, like we can say, they have become real adults. Mm-hmm. Because the moment you lose that curiosity, you lose the power of learning. And as rightly Poonam said, a lifelong learner, one is important is to have curiosity, mindset. Second is most important for me is the mindset. It is never an ending story. It's always something new that will be keep coming on your way. Be open. Attitude defines the altitude. I keep telling everyone, attitude defines the altitude, and that is what is the key thing for a lifelong learner.
I can't tell you how much I agree with this. If you are also agreeing with us, please feel free to let us know in the chat. What is the most recent thing that you had to learn that you didn't think you might need to pick up in this time in your life? I would love to hear it from y'all. Please feel free to chime in the chat thread. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit more in terms of Pluralsight. What are some ways that the org really enables y'all to learn and grow as part of your kind of life journey? Ravi, do you want to start us?
Can you rephrase the question if you don't mind?
No, not a problem. What are some of the ways that Pluralsight enables you all to grow and learn from each other as teammates?
Absolutely. First thing to start with that is growth and upskilling are like, it is part of the Pluralsight, and we invest heavily in team members and making sure that they are able to define and achieve their career goals. This aligns with our core mission. Pluralsight mission is pretty powerful. Pluralsight mission is advance the world's technology workforce. What does it mean? World's technology workforce start from Pluralsight workforce itself first. That is where we say like our commitment to this tech industry is we want to advance, we want the people to grow, we want them to keep learning. In Pluralsight, we enable a lot of things for our entire workforce, not necessarily limited to the tech, but it is available for everyone. The entire our learning platform is available free to everyone to upskill. They can choose, they can define their learning goals, they can define their career path, they can do their assessment to check like, how they are scoring, where they are to go, from where to where they have to create their journey, and that is what it helps. Second thing is that we allow, just like every other company, we allow a lot of internal job rotations, elevating the people irrespective of what they are. It's purely merit-based and performance-based. Thirdly, there are professional development time. For example, we have something called as a reserved learning time of 2 hours every week in everybody's calendar. Typically, that happens on Fridays, right? So which means there is a dedicated time reserved for people to be understanding that they need to focus that time for learning, pick up some new skills. Then, as a company, we encourage people to pick up any courses which are outside of the platform, professional development. It could be soft skills, it could be leadership development or anything. And there are some dollars which are available as a stipend, which people can, like, through the formal procedures, they can use those things and build their own career. So some of these things helps the people to understand like how to plan their development. This is a mutual conversation. Beyond that, there is a global mentorship program. You can choose a mentor anywhere in the world. You can be a mentee, and you can have a mentor anywhere in the world. Both the ways it works. So, and currently, for example, there is also another new program that which is happening currently. This week is the Career Development Week. There is tons of sessions which is happening globally, focusing on how people can plan and grow in their careers. This event happens every year. Career Development Week is called a Career Week, and people sign up to a lot of courses, a lot of such sessions which is happening parallelly. There are multiple tracks. On top of all these things, to guide them, there is a very clearly defined career ladders for everyone and every profession. Be it you want to be an individual contributor, you can go as a principal, you can go as a distinguished engineer. If you want to grow as a management, yes, you can grow as whatever the level you want to take, it's up to you. Sky's the limit. These are all the guiding and the tools, and that's how we take care of employees and enable Pluralsight team members. You have a tech platform, you have a mentorship program, you have a dedicated time for learning, and then you have a career ladder which will guide you where you want to go. Choose your path, craft it.
That honestly, Ravi, that was a great list of stuff that Pluralsight does. Poonam, have you taken advantage of any of these programs or resources, or is there any that maybe Ravi forgot to mention that you have utilized?
So I think Ravi summed it really great, but I was, as a mentor and as a leader of a team of developers, I would just like to add how we constantly as leaders try to make sure that we bring the topic of career growth, their learning in every one-on-ones we have with our developers. We make sure we encourage the participation in our hackathons, which we we take very seriously. We make
and
sure
Poonam is right now in the mid of a hackathon. She's
Yeah.
participating in a hackathon right now, she and her team.
Yeah, and we have an excellent Center of Excellence team as well in Pluralsight. We arrange workshops for certifications. Right now, there is a AWS certification program going on, being led by our Center of Excellence, and that involves people just not from the developer section, but also from finance, sales, product, and everybody. And so these are the kind of workshop which where people get together, talk about questions, learn together, and it's kind of a collaborative culture where we are uplifting and learning together, and going in, as Ravi said, sky is the limit after that. Yeah.
She put it up very subtly that we have the cloud certification program. Beyond the tech, if I have to call out how the program is successful, our chief people officer, he's certified, he has taken the cloud certification. Our CEO has taken the cloud certification. That is a kind of like leading by example in Pluralsight.
Yeah, of course. I think that, yes, absolutely. Leading, that's a great example of not just saying like, here's the path that you can take and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm walking it. You can get right behind me. This is how we do these things. Modeling that behavior is always a good thing. So love to hear it. Okay, so Poonam, the tech landscape, I mean, like a lot of other industries, but tech has always been changing. How do you stay up to date and make sure that you are, current with the next trends and evolving tech?
So a few of the tricks and tips I have in my bucket is I like to join various tech communities, like women in tech force, women in leadership. There are, girls who can code, and it's just not for girls, even for, the whole diversity range. I like to keep, I'm very, keen on attending tech summits and events. If I cannot be physically present, maybe I can go ahead and see recordings. I like to subscribe to, the social media channels of my favorite bloggers or favorite architects who kind of, paste new findings, and that's the way I, and obviously upskilling and, taking new courses, but, receiving newsletters and receiving subscription notification is kind of something, encourages the curiosity. Hey, this is something new. Let me go and, read that. So that kind of helps me in knowing what's going on recently.
Ravi, how about you? Are there any blogs or podcasts or resources that you utilize to make sure that you're staying up to date?
Everything what Poonam said, and moreover, with on top of all these things, I always love to put the hands onto it first. Experiment it, take the risk, take the bold step. We are not going to lose anything by experimenting. At the best, what happens? You will fail, you will learn, and then move forward. That is what I would say, like mindset. This to stay up to date, most important, we go back to the first thing we talked about it, curiosity. Second is the attitude to learn. If you are a coachable material, you will always find a coach. There will be people whom you can piggyback, who can go and approach. Indian culture is all about the student teacher. It's philosophically, that is how the Indian culture is. There is nothing like who need to be a student, who need to be a teacher. Anybody, it is irrespective of all the attributes of a human. There is a one teacher and the student, and that is how the whole philosophy brings up.
Oof, this is fabulous. I'm loving all of this. Okay, so let's talk about when you've had to expand your skill set throughout your career. Have there been any strategies or approaches that you've taken that have helped you to expand your skill set? Ravi, do you want to go first?
Sure. It's quite interesting question, Meg. Thanks for asking this. The strategies has been different at different phases of my career. When I started getting into the computer field, I didn't know anything about the programming. So the first thing that I did is that I attended a computer training school who was teaching C++ programming. I learned it formally through somebody who was expert. Back in early 90s, I'm talking about it. I learned these things through a person who was a professional in that field. When I moved forward, I went through another professional training to understand how the enterprise architecture, how the enterprise solutions are designed. And then onwards, the journey changed. For example, when I had to get into the DBA, the database, I had nobody to teach. I had to do a self-discovery completely. And in that process, I was not just learning, I was also basically teaching others. I will learn and teach. I will learn and teach. This was making me to continuously keep upgrading it. We moved forward. We went into the next generation of field. In fact, I handled something like IT networking, complete networking, right? Just completely, totally different field from the entire software engineering. Because of the curiosity and the attitude that I had all the time, I learned what does it mean to work on a networking? How the network architecture works? And it also helped in understanding how the software architecture is impacted by a network. When you have a problem in your application, how to go and troubleshoot it. It could be the network layer, which we need to understand. So it is a different strategy at different part of life. There is no one single, there is not like, you have a one size fits for all. Neither there is a silver bullet to say that follow this path. As latest as 4 or 5 years back, I decided to jump in the AML field. I said, okay, let me do that. And first I spent some time on YouTube and things like that to learn. And I figured out that I was doing the most stupid things, because I was getting fascinated by what they tell, but there was no foundations. We were missing the foundational element. I decided to take a professional course, a 1-year course to do the complete, despite my professional engagement, I decided to do a proper course. It helped me to become a very solid professional. The end of that course and further down the line, I was becoming a mentor for AMS students. It was a different feeling to grow like that, learn, teach, enhance your knowledge. That is the simple strategy, I would say.
I think that that's wonderful. I've also always definitely like retained knowledge better and come to a better like understanding of it myself when I tried to teach it to someone else. So yeah, I think that's wonderful. Poonam, how about you? Are there specific skills or approaches, or sorry, specific approaches or processes that you use when you're trying to expand your skill set?
As Ravi said, practicing is very important. We do not grasp everything we hear. So it's very important to, do an example or do a practical implementation. It's very important to be consistent in learning. When we pick up a topic, it's not done in an hour, right? We need to be consistent into finding more details about it. One of the things that I do and how I am able to architect solutions better is, so when we see the tech world right now, there are uncountable number of technologies. But it's very important for us as technical people to understand trade-off of these technologies. We do not have to learn syntax. We do not have to learn, how to write this code. We need to understand what is the trade-off, why I want to use this, and what are the scenarios I want to use this. So that's the kind of thing that broadens your horizon and taking, better decisions as a technical leader. So yeah, these are the kind of things I like to do.
There we go. Found my unmute button. No, I think this is really, really awesome. It actually is going to lead us really well into my next question here. So when you have, when you've got this continuous education mindset or continuous learner mindset, how does this play into a culture of continuous learning at Pluralsight? If you are an individual working for Pluralsight, how can somebody expect to balance their work and responsibilities there while also dedicating time to learning the skill and development? So let's talk about what Pluralsight does to encourage that balance. Poonam, do you want to start us here?
Yeah, I think parts of this answer to this question was covered by Ravi earlier. As he mentioned, we have dedicated protected learning time for everybody across all divisions of Pluralsight, and we believe into the collaborative environment where we are just not learning as an individual, as a team as well. Some of the key things which we like to practice in our tech space is we have regular tech bite sessions where we are learning about other microservices which we're not even using, but getting to learn new technologies. Our developers collaborate together to conduct sessions on new technologies or new learnings they did. Maybe they completed a recent certification and they want to share that knowledge with everybody. So that kind of collaborative environment helps build a technical tech force in the organization. And yeah, I think that's I think we can answer.
One of the core cultural values of Pluralsight is seek to learn, and other part is that own our outcome. These things are so powerful that every time when you look at it, there is something for us to say, like how we collaborate. There is something for us to say autonomous working. Our engineering philosophy is all about autonomous development. This autonomous development comes with a lot of accountability and responsibility, which means people have to be understanding their own accountability and responsibility and scale up to that. And that is what is like committing to our future. So this is something that in our cultural values, which helps people to understand, like, how do I continuously build my skill upwards? How do I use my dedicated professional protected learning time effectively? What I can contribute to the organization, to the team. Poonam talked about the Tech Bites. That's really a great program, which is becoming very successful. We also have a lot of guild groups focused on specific tech domains. It could be a React.js, it could be a Node.js, it could be Grafana, it could be like Kafka. There are specific guild groups, and this is global groups, which means you got to learn from peers all the time. You have a challenge, you are content with a challenge, there are peers whom you can count on and learn. I think that is how the organization culture is always continuously moving and continue to learn every day. We are a company dedicated to learning. I can only say the simple word.
Well, it's clear, it's clear not just in the answers that y'all are giving us, but in the depth of feeling in those answers, it makes it clear this is something that really impacts each of you personally. It's not just something of like, yeah, we believe in philanthropy and one day a year we volunteer and stuff. Like, it's clear from talking to each of you, that this is not only something that you're passionate about, but something that is entrenched within the Pluralsight culture as well. Okay, so let's talk about some of your best tips for effective self-learning. Now, Ravi, you had said earlier that you had to teach yourself something completely from scratch, a function that you were going to have to do. Are there any ways that work better for you when you are directing your own learning yourself?
The first thing when somebody is looking for an effective tip, I can only say is that create an atmosphere for yourself first, where you are focused, you are attentive, and you are less distracted. That is the first and foremost thing. Today, everybody is glued onto so many things, social media, distractions. You are watching a video on the YouTube or any other things where you're learning, but your focus is on the mobile, which is on in front, or you are in the iPad, which talks about your texting, chatting, or posting some things. First is do one at a time. Focus on the one particular thing, which helps you to practice it. Do not leave it in half. I won't advocate, in fact, the same thing that I told my own daughter. Do not do 5 different things where you just put your step and then take out. Put a solid footprint deep into that subject. Make it really a mastery of that subject. And that is how you can grow in that area. If you want to direct yourself, if you say that what I should be doing it differently, think about it. What is your career objective? It also goes back to one of the question in the chat. Like, for example, somebody said that, is it better to stay in tech roles or shift to the management roles gradually, Madhumita? So I'm just trying to relate back these two things. If you want to be a management person, look at your strength and see, do you like the management responsibilities, and put all your efforts behind that. There is no hard and fast rule that you need to move away from tech and you got to get to the management. You can be a hardcore techie. Today, the value of a technocrats is extremely high in the market. People grow to the level of a distinguished engineers where the industry looks up to them. Put such kind of a goal, what you want to be. You can grow as an individual contributor. You can go as a solid technical support, technical engineer, software engineer for next 20 years, where you want to be renowned in the industry. That is how I would say tip is, do not scratch the surface. Go as deep as possible. Be a mastery in that subject.
Okay, very good advice. All right, we've got a couple more questions. We should be able to get to maybe one of them. How can companies create a supportive environment that encourages experimentation and taking risks in the pursuit of learning and skill development? Honestly, I love this question because it kind of reminded me earlier when you were talking about creating a good environment for learning, is that you have to create a safe environment for failure too, right? The whole idea of learning, people don't learn from success, we learn from failure. How do you think that companies can go about creating this setting that really fosters that continuous learning?
Yeah, just to reflect back, people not just learn from their own failures. Learning is also from someone else's failure. You should be vigilant about it. Okay. So the organization culture is built by the people around it. Of course, there is a management philosophy which comes into the picture. What is the commitment a company has got for this? Most companies do have such environment. It is just that it gets proliferated over a period of time. The work priorities takes higher precedence over somebody's learning abilities. But I'm 100% sure most companies have one of the critical goal is how much time that you have spent on time on learning something and improving your own abilities. It should not be used as a tech mark. I have heard from several companies, large companies, where, oh, your performance goal is that you should have spent 25 hours in learning. So the question is not about 25 hours. What is the quality of learning in that 25 hours need to be assessed. Otherwise, it becomes a tick mark. Company culture is always there. It is about individuals, what commitment they have for themselves and for learning. That is what I would like to say. Most companies have the same culture that is supporting learning. I haven't heard any company, at least, who says that I don't care about what you learn or anything, just come and work here. No, I have never heard of such companies, actually.
Poonam, how about you here? Do you think that there is anything else that's required for an org to create that supportive environment for learning?
I think the support comes in a top-down approach. And what I observed after joining Pluralsight is we encourage people to learn and people to experiment, and that's coming in from the management. And so it's very important for every leader, every mentor, to make sure that they create that safe environment within their team and play their part in encouraging people and not, coming up to them with, targets and saying, hey, you did this, and, pointing out mistakes. Rather, setting that as an example on how we could have done better and doing a good retrospective with the team. That's going to encourage a very good, environment where people are not hesitant to try something new and follow the old methods.
I think you're right. I think that trust and building that up so that people do feel secure is key. If you're afraid of failure, you're not going to want to try new things. So I think that is very, very great points you both made. All right, we're going to have to wrap up, but Poonam and Ravi, thank you both so much. I really have enjoyed getting to learn from you today, getting to know you each a little bit better. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your experiences with us.
It's so great to be here talking to everyone, learning more things about these programs. All the best.